on that threshold?
Well, Alfred Naro.
I rise to take a call on this reading in the committee stage. Mr Chair, we've heard a lot of talk about the things that have gone wrong with this bill. We haven't heard about the things that are going well with this bill. Mr Chair, the previous speaker talked about the aspect of the bill and the injustice, the inequity, it almost seemed to be coming out, and yet what the previous speaker didn't talk about are the other aspects of support and care that are provided. For instance, the working for families, the accommodation supplement. It's a bit unfair, Mr Chair, to have a sense that this bill alone provides for all the needs of the children and of the family in particular. Mr Chair, we know that families and in their breakup and the difficult situations is a very complex and a very difficult situation. And in this case, we know that it's often traumatic, and especially for the children. Financial instability following breakup is all too common, and this is the area, Mr Chair, that we've been concerned about, that the Minister's been concerned about, ensuring that we provide the adequate support. Mr Chair, all parties have actually agreed that the intent to reform the current scheme is important. In fact, we know that there's been extensive consultation, Mr Chair, around this. There was the report that was in 2010, Mr Chair, about the government released a discussion document. And Mr Chair, there's been extensive consultation, 2,270 participants, 834 receiving parents, 753 paying parents, and 685 other parties, 30% who included both pay and receive child support. Mr Chair, I note those comments about the consultation, because when we talked about the formula, and there's been a lot of talk about the formula, how it has been complex, and the previous speaker, Jacinda Ardern, was quite correct that at times when we were going through the process as Select Committee, it was complex. There were whiteboards, there were papers, we were trying to work out what this was. It's complex, Mr Chair, because we know the circumstances often for families is very complex as well. But Mr Chair, in the consultation that was had, 69% of the online surveyed, those who were surveyed, said this. It should also be noted that the respondents to the online consultation undertaken thought that all the factors should be used to determine child support payments. Mr Chair, in other words, the overwhelming majority said this. We know it's difficult, we know it's complex, but we don't want you to remove the opportunity for us to be recognised in our different circumstances. So we've heard people talk about it's too complex, it's too difficult. Mr Chair, the consultation of submissions have clearly said we know it's complex, but we need those individual factors to be included as well. So, Mr Chair, the New Zealand Law Society, in fact, talked about this. The proposed child support formula is too complex, should be simplified. So this is the consideration to address those issues. Taking all those elements into account results in a more cohesive and comprehensive change to the formula that incorporates estimated average expenditures for raising children, varying levels of care and the income of both parents. So that's the basis of this formula. That's the basis of the formula that I think that most Kiwis, most parents would understand and would appreciate, Mr Chair, in regards to addressing their circumstances and in their situation as well. That said, the proposed child support formula is more complex, but in order for us to realise that, I know that the Honourable Member Holly Walker talked about the factors, they'll need accountants, they'll need IRD specialists. Well, that's not true, because here's what has been acknowledged. However, parents or other affected parties will not be expected, Mr Chair, to undertake the calculations themselves. Instead, Inland Revenue Systems will undertake all the calculations required to determine liabilities and entitlements. And they may say over there, $91 million and all the months of training. But Mr Chair, we've heard the wailing and the gnashing of teeth at times when we've been unprepared, in a sense, when we haven't got the systems right. And here we are investing in the system, investing in an approach to ensure that the liabilities and the entitlements for families and for children. Mr Chair, I want to also address this issue of paramountcy. Can I say this, Mr Chair? The reason why this is important, that the entitlements that will go back to the parents, because these are the caregivers that will care for their children. Most Kiwis, Mr Chair, want the ability to care for their own children, want the ability to make their own decisions, Mr. Chair. And so hence this government is not about taking away that control. Instead, it's wanting to ensure that even they can be entitled. When we lowered the threshold, for instance, we've heard the fact that it's mainly women, and absolutely, Mr. Chair, it is mainly women who are the caregivers. But in circumstances where men, where fathers are taking their responsibilities, should we not recognise that?
I call Asanati Lolo Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. New Zealand First supports the move